Now we're back with another apology video to Sophia from Pixel Scene Media. Just like in the last video, she sent me a email about 2 weeks ago going, hey, thanks for the support over the past year, would you be interested in watching these two screeners? And I said yes. Now the problem is, my laptop decided to fritz out, so I had to get it fixed, which meant I had no access to getting the link of these movies. Normally I watch Pixel Scene Media screeners within 24 hours of receiving them, so I'm sorry Sophia, but the film that we are watching, because this is the second one out of 2 films, is My Dead Friend Zoe. Merritt is a US veteran who keeps seeing the presence of Zoe, her best friend who died in combat. When her estranged grandfather is diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, she decides to become his caretaker while also trying to heal herself. Ooh, oh my god, you've hooked me already. I'm sorry, it's 3 things that I'm kind of really curious about. The fact that I am a fan of watching war movies, and the effects of, I guess, either the fictional characters or the real life persons of going to war and coming home. But also the fact that you've got someone trying to look after their granddad who has also got his own issues, his own health battle, which in turn is going to eventually lead to grief. But you've also got the fact that you've got someone who's lost their best friend, who's also dealing with her own grief. So if you put Alzheimer's on top of grief, on top of a war veteran, that's just a bag of emotions waiting to happen. So I'm kind of like at a 0.5 of excitement right here, okay? So it's a war comedy, which is going to be really interesting. So let's finally check out My Dead Friend Zoe. I would have been really surprised if I ended up hating this movie. Because as I said at the beginning of the film, it's about a veteran, it's about trying to deal with your own grief, it's about family. I'm kind of a sucker for soldier movies. I really am. I have a strong opinion of war and what the government does, but I will never disrespect someone who served for their country, because it's not your fault, it's the government's, because fuck those guys. But this one is very interesting in how it does its story. It kind of takes PTSD and, I guess, generic mental health problems like Alzheimer's, and it combines those 2 stories together. It's a story of Merritt coming home and being forced to look after her granddad. She's very reluctant about it because she's dealing with her own troubles. She's dealing with her grief and hallucinating that her best friend is still kind of in her life, which is Zoe. With the help of Morgan Freeman, he tries to be like, hey Merritt, you know, come join group therapy and we can help you through these problems. She refuses, even though it's court mandated. So she ends up going to her granddad's and dealing with stuff there, but it also doesn't work in her favor because she's like, I'm still dealing with my dead friend Zoe. So, like, everything else is just not the bigger problem. But what I like about it is that it gives you this assumption that it was a attack and that she watched her friend die while they were serving. Instead, it takes it one step further and goes, she returned home. Both girls made it home safely, or at least as safe as a soldier can be, but one of them commits suicide. It doesn't show you the suicide, and it won't tell you that until the end of the story. But it does it in such a way that you kind of understand that Zoe's perspective and journey, she's kind of always just went with the flow and kind of just went, I'm doing this my way. And Merritt's like, no, we'll do it together. But it really puts a lot of things in perspective. And this is why I get angry at the government. Because again, it's not the soldier's fault. It's not the fault of anybody who serves because they're doing what they think is right. But it's the fault of the government is because the government doesn't have a proper support system for anybody who serves and returns home and doesn't want to go back. Whether they did want to re-enlist but something stops them, or whether they just don't want to re-enlist, I think the support system from the government is just not as big. This is actually inspired by a true story. The director was a war veteran, is a war veteran and did lose somebody due to suicide. Most of the cast, I think like 99% of the cast, have served. During the end credits, they put together a little montage of the actors and then their themselves in the outfits from when they were younger, which I did not realize that Morgan Freeman served for his country. I learned something today. Most of the crew have some sort of affiliation with serving for their country as well, so that was really nice. But this is really good. I think it's definitely well worth a watch, and it's a nice little, I guess, emotional journey, and puts into perspective of a lot of things that we don't necessarily see in a lot of war-based movies.